One. Good evening. It is Monday, June 9th. This is the Guilford Board of Education. Please join us in Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. All right, good evening, everyone. I am going to start with a request from my colleagues to do a little movement of the agenda, and I think I'm going to do it in two parts. The first request is for a motion to move 9.1, the presentation of CABE Student Awards, up to prior to action of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, terrific. So we will do that next. The second request is to add several items to the agenda. These will be receive items, they're curriculum items. So I'm going to make it in one motion. I'm going to ask for a motion to add 9.7, receive personal finance curriculum, 9.8, receive Health 1 and Health 2 curriculums, and 9.9, receive PE 1 and PE 2 curriculums.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we'll add those to the end. So that what that means next is we get to do the CABE presentation of CABE Student Awards. I'm just gonna say a few things about this, and I'm gonna ask Ms. Chapp to come up and help us award these. So the CABE, this is the 29th annual CABE Student Leadership Award. CABE is the Connecticut Association of Boards of Education. It's an organization that does a tremendous amount supporting boards of education and school districts in the state in a whole host of ways. So this is an annual CABE Student Leadership Award. And I just want to name the criteria. We're going to hear about the remarkable two young people who are getting it here tonight. But criteria, leadership skills should include willingness to take on challenges, capability to make difficult decisions, concern for others, ability to work with others, willingness to commit to a project, diplomacy, ability to understand issues clearly, an ability to honor a commitment. We are very excited for the two young people who are going to be awarded tonight, and I'm going to ask Ms. Chapp to come up and help us in distributing these awards.
Good evening, everyone. I have two very worthy young people to present to you this evening for this recognition. The first is Rocco Barbera. Not only is he a dedicated leader on the football field, Coach White says of him that he is receptive to feedback, reliable and consistently present. He leads by example, and he is someone who gets everyone to kind of rally around him and do what needs to be done. Off the field, and I would argue probably more impressively, he's been really committed and dedicated to our unified sports program, has spent a great deal of time raising money and supporting our unified sports athletes and participating with them. And in the school, during the school day, he's dedicated 3 years to serving as in the adaptive PE program as a peer mentor. And it's been a passion for him, and it has shown in how the students respond to him and how he is a leader among all of the typical peers within that program. So I'm very proud to present Rocco.
Rocco, stay here a second, if you would, right? So there is a letter here to Rocco on behalf of the Connecticut Association of Boards of Education. The Connecticut Association of Boards of Education awards a Student Leadership Award to Rocco Barbera, Guilford High School, for distinguished leadership in school activities and daily life. There is also another small something for you in this envelope as well. Congratulations, thank you for all you've done.
The second recipient this evening is a year-round athlete and co-captain of the girls' crew team. She also is described as an athlete and leader who leads by example, demonstrates perseverance and teamwork, and is dedicated to the success of everyone around her. Outside of her athletics, she came to Mr. Raven and I want to say it was a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and she wanted to start a Guilford Habitat for Humanity Club. And we couldn't make it happen on school grounds, but she made it happen in the community and with incredible effort on her part and rallying her peers around her to make that so. As president of the Environmental Club, she has spearheaded plant sales, beach cleanups, and a seeker drive that raised $5,000. The proceeds were donated to the Dan Cosgrove Animal Shelter and to the GHS Pollinator Garden. And in her MBDA project, she testified at the state capitol about the dangers of SGAR poisoning and its threat to predatory birds. So she has accomplished a number of outstanding leadership things, both inside Guilford High School and in the community at large. So Addison Sven.
The Connecticut Association of Boards of Education, CABE, awards a Student Leadership Award to Addison Smith of Guilford High School for distinguished leadership in school activities and daily life. Awarded this 18th day of April, but it's really cute. And we're so proud of you and really all the work that you've done. And this award is so very much deserved.
I just want to say congratulations again. Thank you for all you've done for our community. It really makes a difference. Great to see many family members here as well, supporting you. So, thank you so much.
Thank you both for everything that you do.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take the baby out of your meeting now.
No problem. It's a welcome addition. And you are welcome to stay, but you are also welcome to go. Thank you for coming. You do
reason
not
why
have
we
to
moved
stay for the
Yeah.
whole
You guys
meeting.
first, you can maybe spend it with your family.
Go spend with your family. Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right. Next item is action of minutes. The first, May 12th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve these meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, corrections? I only had the very minorest of corrections, if that's a word, on page 5, at the very bottom. The last motion, Mrs. Rader, RADER. Yeah. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the May 12th, 2025 Board of Ed meeting minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Abstentions. Okay. And then we have the May 27th, 2025 workshop meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any comments or corrections on these? No? All right. So we have motion and second. All those in favor of approving the Monday, May 27th, 2025 Guilford Board of Education meeting minutes, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? And abstention.
Abstain.
Okay, so Ms. Rader and Dr. Hirsch abstain. All right, public comments on the agenda? Anyone? There's no, except for our wonderful student awardees.
Right.
So we will then move on to a review and approval of the expenditures for the month of May 2025.
Expenditures for the month of May 2025 were $5,361,000.03. That includes warrant, so $2,108,712.30. Expenditures and encumbrances to the end of May were approximately the same as last year, coming in at 85% this year versus 86% last year. Revenue for May 2025 was $195,978.15, and that includes the final payment for the excess cost grant for the year, which has been apportioned to revenue with $176,994, as well as to transportation for $38,699.74. The rest of the revenue was made up of a combination of Medicaid, pre-K tuition, and non-resident tuition, and a quarterly payment for the EV charging station. With regard to the individual line items, salary percentages were in line with prior year. Employee benefits was slightly higher than the prior year in terms of percentage, but actually represented less than last year's overall payments at this time of the year. In terms of purchase services, tuition, supplies and materials, and capital and transportation, all of those were slightly lower than prior year payments. That's all.
All right, thank you. The board discussed this in detail, this financial report and the warrants in detail in the operations committee just prior to this meeting. But I will give an opportunity for any additional comments if anyone has them or questions. None, okay. We have the reports in front of us. I will note that the warrant is $2,108,712.30. Mr. Brooks has gone through the details of the report. Is there a motion to approve the May 2025 financial reports for fiscal year 24-25?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions. All right, terrific. We are now up to communications. Does anyone have communications they'd like to share with the board?
I'll add that we had a great workshop 2 weeks ago, our TIG update, where we talked a lot at length about healthy cell phone habits, talking about policy around AI and cell phones. We'll hear a little bit more about that in the superintendent's report, but we did get several communications from both parents, medical professionals around the importance about solidifying some kind of policy around cell phone use and AI. So,
Great, thank you. Anything else? All right, student representatives, how are you guys tonight? Wonderful. I will turn it over to you.
So for MSJ, they wanted to share that grade 4 will have their stepping up ceremony this week. They walked through a giant arch as kindergartners to signify their start at MSJ. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. At MSJ, and they will exit through that same arch as they prepare for the transition to middle school. And then to celebrate the current 4th graders, the PTO will host like a glow party. And then last week they had a very successful school-wide field day where dozens of family volunteers came out and helped to make the event successful. And then lastly, grade 2 is going to visit the Peabody Museum this week. Then for Baldwin, they wanted to highlight their plans for the grade 4 to 5 transition. Mr. Ham will be visiting each fourth grade classroom in all four elementary schools to meet the kids and to answer their questions. And then in early June, so this week, some current fifth graders will return to their elementary schools to answer the questions from a student's perspective for like the upcoming students. And then lastly, there would be an open house for students and parents to come to the building to meet staff and to become familiar with the school's layout. And then for B, they wanted to first highlight their upcoming field day, which celebrates the 75th birthday of their school. And then lastly, they also wanted to highlight their upcoming open house at Baldwin for the incoming fifth grade.
For Cox, they wanted to highlight their stepping up ceremony for the fourth graders next week to celebrate their journey through elementary school and looking ahead to middle school. Overall, music performances have ended, and through the year, grades have shown great progression in musical learning. Kindergartners even tried instruments like the ukulele. For Adams, on May 22nd, the 7th grade social studies students had a cultural exchange with 7th graders in Taiwan through a program called ArtLink. They shared artwork they had made about their family, culture, and heritage. Students came back to Adams at 7:30 to Zoom with the Taiwanese students at 7:30 p.m. at 7:30 a.m. in their time. And other students and families from Adams joined in the celebration to view the cultural exchange. Administration and school counselors visited 6th graders at Baldwin at the end of May to present Adams and answer student questions about the transition to 7th grade. Spring concerts for chorus, band, and orchestra, as well as select groups, were fantastic. Students performed high school level music and impressed packed audiences at each concert. The 7th graders had their annual end of year trip to Jacobs Beach, and the 8th graders will have theirs to Hammonasset later this week. I remember that one, that was really fun.
That's a good one.
And then the 8th graders visited GHS for orientation trips and tours. They got to meet with administrators, school counselors, and current high school students to learn more about 9th grade at GHS. The 8th grade promotion day is Thursday at GHS at 1 p.m. For Guilford Lakes, on June 1st, Lakes had Red Ribbon Assembly. Red Ribbon Day encourages students to make healthy choices and strive to become strong role models. Maddie Epke, a first-team All-American lacrosse player, spoke to Lake students on Friday. She shared the message of making healthy choices and setting goals. Students were so excited to meet her that some found scraps of paper to get autographs. Lakes had their 2nd annual art show. Congratulations to Miss Mancy and all of her students for a remarkable art show. And then on June 5th, Lakes had a field day. Thank you, Mr. Bello, teachers, and the many chaperones who made the field day another amazing success this year. For GHS, the first GHS newspaper had a resurgence this year, and it has been really exciting to see. The students definitely put a lot of effort into the articles, and it's been really fun when they pass them out to see like pictures. They had different senior showcases. Trying to think what else they included in there.
I don't know, they had college advice, they had fun sections like game recommendations and like favorite drinks, so there's like a lot for everyone.
And they print them out on paper and stuff. And they also have a digital version, but it's been really cool to see. And the second resurgence was their new literary magazine, Muses, which was a lot of students sent in like poems or different like art forms, literary art forms to the magazine, and they put together these cute little books. It was really awesome to see like the collaboration and the outside work that some students definitely put into literacy.
That's great.
And then finals. So not so fun.
That's great.
Yeah, coming up soon, almost summer.
All summer. Well, and we do have Guilford graduation this Friday
Yes.
on the green. No
So
rain. I'm saying that out loud. No, I've been trying to send positive vibes.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. A question about the newspaper, is it quarterly? Is it, or is it just starting back? So not necessarily on a schedule yet, or?
Yeah, I saw two,
Okay,
so.
great.
Yeah, April, June-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, they were really fun.
That's great.
I think I saw them at lunch. There was a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
people passing
Mhm.
them out. So, yeah, it was fun. They like printed them out and everything with the pictures and a lot of different articles in there.
Wonderful.
That's great.
Any other questions for our student reps?
Enjoy the
Um,
summer.
I was just gonna say, so this is a pause in seeing you for a couple of months, but I hope you have a wonderful summer.
Thank you, you too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And
Awesome.
again, you can feel free to go if you would like.
Thank you both.
Thank you
Yes,
so
you probably have a
much.
few things to study.
Have a great summer.
You too. All right, Dr. Freeman, I'm turning over to you for the superintendent's report.
Thank you. I feel like sort of everything has been touched on. So I do want to reiterate the presentation the T group made to this group at your last meeting. Incredibly thorough report, an incredibly thorough presentation. I just want to remind this group that now internally, the leadership team is taking that report and those recommendations. We are looking at some neighboring policies, and we expect to be bringing some initial recommendations to the policy committee to begin now the nuts and bolts steps of taking all of that information and turning it into action moving forward. So we're looking forward to presenting that to the policy committee, if necessary, planning special meetings to bring that forward and have conversations beginning with the policy committee and then with the full board.
I believe Branford just last month, within the last couple of weeks, went to Yonder Patches or about to enact that.
Okay.
So the newest one I've heard about.
We'll touch base with
Just
them as well.
took,
That's news to me.
they
I didn't know
literally,
that.
I mean, just within the last week or two, I think,
What's our
made
time?
that decision.
Well, there's further developments at the state level as well, in terms of, mandating that we actually formalize a policy, correct?
Did not pass,
Okay.
so,
Sadly, there was a
Yeah,
very
no,
important education bill that got out of the House,
yeah,
and on the final hours of the last day, the Senate did not give it the time it deserved.
so no state,
It was in that bill.
no state,
Gotcha.
official state guidance on that, at least from the legislature.
Strong
expect to-
suggestions, but yeah.
We expect to work with building leadership and to be able to have recommendations to you, or at least the beginning of something to start conversation by early this summer. I think where it goes from there and how long this board decides to wrestle with that will then determine the end of that time frame. So we want to get it to you quickly. We want to turn around our component, but we don't for a minute begin to presume how long this board may want to
Right.
talk about
Right.
something that is both pressing and important. And so there's a balancing act there. Again, we initiated the entire TEAG process while other districts were responding because of what was happening in the press last year. So we wanted to start a thoughtful conversation. We'll move our piece to you quickly. And then as long as you want to have that conversation, will be determined by you as a body.
Okay.
I also then wanted to know, as you heard referenced tonight, the open house, the transition evening that is happening at Baldwin that was referenced is happening tonight. It's happening right now. And I'm excited to point out that both Mr. Hamill and Mr. Buno are there hosting the fourth grade parents and students who are coming to Baldwin for the open house tonight. And I was going to remind everybody about the stepping up and then graduation ceremonies for Adams scheduled Thursday in the early afternoon. And then for Guilford High School, graduation on the green this Friday evening. And we're very excited to be hosting graduation on the green once again. It does look like the weather might hold out for now.
Let's hope. We've done it in rain before.
That was kind of my favorite graduation.
There's a little soggy. Yeah.
But that completes my report. for
Okay,
Tuesday.
wonderful. Thank you. All right, so we're up to number 9, the board agenda. We've already done 9.1, which is the presentation of CAPE Student Awards. So 9.2, personnel items. I'm going to do this in several steps. We are being asked first to ratify the retirement of the following teacher, Maureen Atheltra, special education, 24 years. Is there a motion to approve the retirement of this teacher?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great thanks to the number of years that she has given the Guilford Public Schools. We are asked to ratify the resignation of the following teachers. Emmy Dulac, Calvin Leet Elementary School, grade 1, 6 years. Scott Ryan, Guilford Lakes Elementary School, grade 4, 15 years. And Nicole Weeks, Guilford Lakes Elementary Literacy Coach, 15 years of experience. Is there a motion to approve the resignation of these 3 teachers?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's everybody, okay. Next, we are asked to ratify the retirement of the following administrator. Philip Ross, Baldwin Middle School, Assistant Principal, 25.5 years of experience. Is there a motion to approve the retirement?
So moved. Reluctantly.
Reluctantly, yes, we can't hold on to people if they want to, right? Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Not in favor, you're not in favor of this.
Really?
Mr. Ross has been with us for a very long time.
And I will note that Mr. Ross has agreed in retirement to stay on and to help with the transition of Mr. Buno coming. So Mr. Ross will be with us at Baldwin through the summer planning. And as we
wonderful.
launch a search and until we fill the position, Mr. Ross has agreed to stay on and assist Mr. Buno in the transition. And I just want to know how much that's appreciated.
That's really wonderful. Terrific. And then lastly, we are being asked to ratify the resignation of the following administrator, Jacqueline P. Filippo, Guilford High School Special Education Coordinator, 6.5 years. Is there a motion to approve this resignation?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Well, this represents a great many collective years in supporting Guilford Public School students and our program. So great deal of thanks to these individuals. All right, 9.3 is to act on acceptance of registration for one kindergarten student under the age of 5 requesting enrollment. I believe we did this last month for several students. This is now an additional student for LEAT. This is again an allowable waiver essentially for the Connecticut statute that now has students having to turn 5 by September 1st. But because the state allows parents to request and schools to assess children who may turn 5 later than that, there is now a request that we approve this allowance for one student entering LEAT. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
That's everyone. Thank you. Okay. 9.4, we're being asked to act on an increase to the 25-26 dining services meal pricing. So Guilford Public Schools offers lunch and breakfast at our elementary, middle, and high schools. And is requesting that we consider a 25-cent increase for each of the tiers for breakfast and lunch at each of the schools. Dr. Freeman, do you have anything to add to this, or Ms. Trudeau, just anything we should comment on?
Just to note that it's been some time since we have raised lunch prices. It's been longer than that still since we have increased breakfast prices. And while we are reluctant to do this, the school district really works the lunch program and strives to create a break even. So we do not make money. This is not a revenue generating program. And with the with cost increases that we're experiencing, we simply need to bring this forward in order to be able to balance the program. So while we're not excited about it, we do consider it to be necessary, and we've given you a significant number of comparables. And so you can look and see that this does not price us out of the range that other DIRG B or geographically neighboring districts fall within. We're not excited about doing it, but feel that we need to bring this forward to you this evening.
We do have, I want to say it's probably 25 comparables for other districts in Connecticut that show that this price increase is near or at the averages of other schools. I'm going to first ask for a motion and a second, and then we can have discussion if needed. Is there a motion to approve the meal prices? The increase and proposed meal prices for the Guilford High School dining services across our schools, which represent a 25-cent increase across the board for breakfast and lunch at each school and each tier.
Second.
Any discussion?
Dr. Wallace Tracy, I just feel like for the viewing public who may not have this in front of them, I think it's worth noting that that increase will bring breakfast prices at our schools up to $2 to $2.75. And lunch prices will now fall at $3.50 at the elementary level, $3.75 at the middle level, and then $4.25 at the high school level for a basic lunch, or $5.75 for the upgraded lunch that is available at the high school only.
Terrific. Yes, thank you. That's helpful to share. All right, any discussion? We're ready for a vote. We have a motion and a second. All right, motion is second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Oppose.
One opposed, Ms. Rader, and any abstentions? All right.
Thank you.
9.5 is to receive the 23-24 annual audit report. We did receive a number of documents related to this report. There's a state single audit, a federal single audit, and then a very long and large document that was shared with all but board members. We did discuss this in the operations committee in an introductory way just prior to this meeting. Again, this is a receive item. And I simply want to report out that again, this year, the report is letting us know that there were no negative findings. And I want to thank profusely Mrs. Trudeau and her staff. This is a really important report every year. Guilford Public Schools does a lot of exchanges related to our finances in terms of invoices and billing. It is a large operation, and to have an clean audit report again this year is something to be very proud of and very appreciative of. So thank you. Is there anything you wanted to note in addition as we receive these?
No, the only thing that I want to say is that this is technically the town's audit report that we are a piece of.
That's
So
important.
it's not just all about the Board of Education. It is the full town audit, and we're part of it.
Thank you. That's important. So we also want to thank our partners and the town as
Yes.
well. But it really is, it's something I appreciate greatly every year when we have the opportunity to share this kind of news. All right, 9.6 is to receive a recommendation from the policy committee. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. So this is a new policy. The state of Connecticut has allowed boards of education to now start our own fund. It will be a town designated fund balance, allowable up to 2% of any unexpended funds from our fiscal year. So the intent of this will be that we've got a little bit of an emergency fund if we perhaps have an overture on special education or a capital expense at a building. This is not supposed to be for general programming at all. This is just supposed to be really an emergency fund available for us to kind of just put anything that we didn't spend in a particular fiscal year aside. The town will hold it for us, and it lies with us as a board to figure out how those funds would get dispersed if we ever decided to disperse them. We talked about it extensively at our policy committee meeting a couple of weeks ago. So at this point, this is just a read only. So we can take this, read through it, and at our next meeting, we can have a conversation about it. If folks have any questions, please find me.
Excellent. And I shared this in the operations committee meeting. I do know that there are a number of districts, boards of ed at districts across the state who have created a non-lapsing education account. So I am gathering some information from those colleagues that can help us think about this and understand the approaches that were taken. But as Ms. Peck said, this is an opportunity that the state of Connecticut has set up, and something we'll be considering next month. Excellent. Any other conversation or questions about this?
No, I just think Ms. Peck, she emphasized, the idea is that these would be for capital expenditures, extraordinary expenditures, or emergency expenditures. So it's really for those unforeseen things. Like she said, around special ed or other things. It's not just to pay a repair bill that month. It's really for those extenuating circumstances, but it'll be nice to have everyone kind of read into it and then discuss it at our next meeting.
I think worth reiterating, the policy reads that the expenditures are to be designated at the board level by this body. They are not expenditures that we would engage with at the administrative level. The money will be set aside and this board will take action when to spend that money.
Again, just to make clear, we're the board to set this up. This is funded by the unexpended funds at the end of a full academic year. Over my time on the board, there are times where we might have a couple $100,000 left over unexpended. We've also had some years where, again, thank goodness for our wonderful director. We're down to less than $50,000 or even less than $25,000 a year. But again, the state of Connecticut is giving us an opportunity, if we choose to take it, to put those unexpended funds, excuse me, in a non-lapsing educational account for emergencies. So we'll discuss that next month. Terrific. At the beginning of this meeting, we did add several items to the agenda, so I'm going to turn to those now. The first is 9.7, receive item, the personal finance curriculum. Several weeks ago at our workshop meeting, we had members of our high school faculty come and present the personal finance curriculum that they have developed. Very impressive across the board. We're going to be talking about a number of curriculums here tonight as receive items. A lot of time and attention spent to each of these curriculums, both in terms of content and aligning with the portrait of the graduate. So really impressive, impressive bodies of work. We will receive personal finance curriculum. We are receiving the Health 1 and Health 2 curriculums, and we are receiving the Physical Education 1 and Physical Education 2 curriculums. I don't know if anyone has any questions about those. We have received them also in copy, and we'll be voting on those next month.
Dr. Bellis-Tracy, I'll just note that while you have each received a copy electronically, Those curricula will also be available to the public for the next month while you are considering them, just as we do with textbooks. So those materials will be available at the office, the central office at 595 New England Road. If any community members are interested in viewing those and then appearing before you during public comment before you take action at your next meeting, those materials are available to the public as well.
All right. I am going to note, so again, 9.7 personal finance. We do know that we got some attention during the budget season around this, parents being interested in making sure that that we had the staffing. So just to note the importance of this to parents, that that this is a curriculum now that we'll be able to consider. And again, health and PE. Do any of my colleagues have comments about any of these before we move on? All right, wonderful. So now up to 10 reports of committees. Does the policy committee have anything else they wanted to report out tonight?
Not much. Obviously, we've got a lot on our plates with cell phone and artificial intelligence. You heard from me about the new fund. And the last thing that we discussed was meal charging, but we're not quite ready to bring that to the full board yet. We're still working on a little bit of language about how to get reimbursed if kids don't pay for their meals. So that'll be coming.
Terrific. Operations committee, anything to add?
The only thing I'll add is I say this every June, note of gratitude to our faculty team who has a full plate over the summer of a lot of building projects. So thank you for all your hard work.
Excellent. Curriculum Instruction and Assessment Committee.
Nothing new.
Nothing new.
Other than all of that curriculum we just added.
That's right. Liaisons to town committees, anything to report out? All right, and we'll be assessing a liaison for Learn. Any public comments? We don't have any public here, so there'll be no public or no one is here to utilize the public comment period that comes up now. So I'm going to take us right to the end of this meeting.
Well, I
Yes.
have one comment.
Oh, please do. Go ahead.
Last night we had a Guilford graduate, Will Aronson, class of
Oh,
2000,
yes, very exciting.
who co-wrote Maybe Happy,
My happy.
Maybe Happy
Maybe
Ending,
Happy
Maybe
Ending.
Happy Ending. 6 Tony Awards last night.
Yeah.
And of all things to say at his acceptance speech, he thanked his hometown educators. So just absolutely awesome.
It was very exciting.
Be a good play for the kids to put up.
Yeah.
It would be a
Yeah.
great play for us.
My husband, who was the assistant fencing coach at that time, got all excited when I mentioned it because Will was also a fencer. And I believe may have been on one of the state championship teams. But it created a lot of
So great.
excitement in our household
Yeah,
as well.
Really great.
Absolutely, really terrific.
Yeah, just want to also acknowledge all the GHS seniors who will be graduating on Friday. I have one of them and it's just a very special time for them. And we're just so grateful for this district and just congratulations to all of our graduates ahead of Friday.
Very exciting.
Wonderful. We do have one remaining item, which is an executive session. To continue discussion of the superintendent's evaluation. We will be inviting Dr. Freeman into that executive session. When we come out of the executive session, we are not going to have any further discussion and there will be no votes. We will simply, the only vote will be then to adjourn the meeting. So I thank you for joining us tonight and I hope you have a good start of your summer. Is there a motion to enter executive session?
So moved.
Second,
Okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So.
So a lot of work.